a new Kickstarter for an aquatic adventures book, which is going to be for old school essentials.
This sounds horrifying. Absolutely
That
horrifying.
scares you. Hello and welcome to Every Edition, the Tabletop RPG talk show. I'm John.
I'm Jesse.
And today we're going to loot the body and take a look at Meatlandia from Night Owl Publishing.
And our random encounter today, we have something special. Our first guest on Every Edition, Brian Sutter, the creator of Neon Lords of the Toxic Waste.
Yes. And our morale check is when we take a look at Tabletop RPG news and what's going on. But first, Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We just wrapped the Alien RPG starter set last session.
Yeah.
And this has really sort of blown open Pandora's box for me in terms of what types of games I want to play. Before I was kind of like, maybe I'll try a different game other than D&D at some point. Or just like dip my toes into some starter set. But this is me like head first. I want to try Morkborg. I want to try Cyberpunk. I want to try Starfinder. We got to play old school essentials.
So my plan has worked. I can only hope that there are other people out there that are listening to the show and having similar experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And obviously Dungeon Crawl.
Absolutely. Dungeon Crawl Classics. We had our first session.
That was super fun.
Yeah, first session 0 and zero level characters. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. So we're off and running.
How are you doing, John?
I'm doing well. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty sure I got shadow banned recently on Twitter. So just a lot of this is new to me, and I got really excited about our latest episode and went a little overboard on self-promo Saturday. Sure. And I think Twitter said, "Sir, you are spamming.
You're a robot."
And so they slowed me down. And so I learned, it is more important ultimately to make individual connections than it is to be like, getting your promo out, and dumping it as many times as you can. So I learned that lesson the hard way. The shadow ban has clearly been lifted.
Sure.
And I guess thank you, Twitter, for the tough love.
Tough love. All right, it's time for a morale check. So our morale checks are where we look at news of the week and news of what's going on in the world of RPGs and tabletop stuff. And this week I have some news about 5th edition and some whispers of a new starter set.
Ooh, cool.
So the last starter set was the Essentials Kit, which doesn't market itself as like a starter set, but you can use it as a starter set.
Sure. This
new one was seen sort of in the background of like a Hasbro video, and some information has been leaked since then. It's apparently going to be called the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle.
Okay.
And there's some speculation that it'll be set at approximately $49.99 or $49.95, like the same price of all the books.
Okay. It's
which
a little
is
steep.
Steeper than the other two.
Yeah.
I think the original was $20 and the Essentials Kit was $30.
Uh-huh.
This is $50. So the Alien RPG starter set was $50, and that came with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It came with 20 dice.
Right.
It came with all of the cards and the character sheets and a big rule book. So I'm curious to know what more beyond like character sheets or like pawns will come in this new starter set if it's going to cost $50.
Well, and I always assumed that they come out with a new starter set rather than reprinting the old one when it sells out. It's better for them to probably market or write a new adventure.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'll buy it. Right. But if they print more Essentials kits,
you already have one. You're not going to buy another one.
Yeah. So they can kind of still continue to encourage new players, but also get, double and triple dip for people that are collectors.
Like if it comes with cooler dice and maybe heavier cardstock maps or like a dry erase map or something like that.
Yeah.
I could see that being a justification for a higher price point, or even like a, not necessarily like a one shot, but more like a mini campaign that comes with it. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, in other news and sort of similar, the Zweihander RPG just successfully kickstarted its starter kit. But fear not, if you were not able to back the Kickstarter, the backer kit is still available for late pledges. Zweihander is a game that's based on the Warhammer Fantasy RPG. It's sort of a reorganization and a retelling of that game. It has, the Warhammer Fantasy RPG is sort of known for its very involved character creation. Lots of charts, and like you could spend an hour or two just, creating your character for the game, which in and of itself is fun. And I like to learn about games by creating characters.
Definitely.
And so I'd love to take a look at those Zweihander games. Zweihander is German for two-hander. Zwei and then hander, right?
Type of sword.
Two-handed sword, right? Big sword. And I could imagine a future, fantasy starter set RPG episode, just like we did for sci-fi.
Yeah, where we'd take a look at all the different starter sets of all the fantasy or high fantasy games.
Yeah, I think if 5th edition's coming out with a new one, that would be the right time for us to do that. So stay tuned, everybody. That could be in the future.
And keeping with the theme of starter sets, there's a new box set, which could be a new play on starter set for Alien, for the Alien RPG.
Oh, great.
It just started pre-orders. It is the Heart of Darkness box set. I imagine it's going to come with dice and a rule book and some new characters, new personal agendas. It's going to be another cinematic game mode, so it's going to be built for 1 to 2 sessions. It's not going to be a campaign type thing. And the first one knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved the first one. So, and they said it's going to come out sometime this year. Pre-orders open now. Hopefully it's sooner than later, but we'll definitely review that when that comes out.
Yeah, and I'm ready to play some more Alien when you're ready. So. Great. Well, and finally, Ninth Level Games is planning a new Kickstarter for May for Return to Dark Tower, which is based on the Dark Tower board game from 1981. It was an electronic board game. And that board game actually was originally put out by Milton Bradley, and it had a Kickstarter right around the same time as the Hero Quest was getting re-released. And it kickstarted for $4 million, the Return to Dark Tower new board game, over $4 million. So Ninth Level Games has a license for the role-playing game of Return to Dark Tower, and it's going to be based on their Mazes fantasy RPG, which uses the polymorph system. And I am super excited to get the official release of Mazes, the hardcover book that's coming out in just a couple months, and then right after that it's going to be the Kickstarter for really the first Mazes expansion, which is this Return to Dark Tower licensed RPG coming soon from our friends at Ninth Level Games. Can't wait.
And Mazes is the you play whatever dice you are.
Right.
You are the D4, you are the D6, and that's the only dice you get.
Yep. Very rules light, very simple game, but the focus is on role play.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. It's a great system. We're definitely going to be playing that this year.
Oh, for sure.
I want to get you into that and get you excited about it the same way I'm excited about it. So. All right, so let us know what you think. Are you excited about any Kickstarters? Like I'm excited about the upcoming Return to Dark Tower Kickstarter from Ninth Level Games. Are you awaiting any Kickstarter that you've already backed that you can't wait to get the goodies?
Tome of Beasts, please.
Tome of Beasts 3, or any of the stuff from Zine Quest or excuse me, Zine Month. You can't wait for that stuff? Send us a note, everyeditionrpg@gmail.com. You also, please visit everyeditionrpg.com. That's where you can find links to all of our socials, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I've been very active on Twitter, as I mentioned before at the top of the show. But I'm active on all the other social media platforms as well. And you can also find links there to YouTube, to Spotify, and to Apple Podcasts. And I would love to hear from you. Okay, it's time for a random encounter. Today's random encounter, we have with us Brian Sutter, creator of Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. Hello, Brian.
Hello, guys. How's it going today?
Good. Great to be with you today.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Yeah. So for those people who aren't familiar with Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland, what is it? What's your elevator pitch for this game?
So, Neon Lords, we call it post-apocalyptic cassette futurism, to where the apocalypse happens in 92,
Mm.
and then the technology kind of goes past the apocalypse into millions of years into the future. It's kind of like mutated and added into alien tech with it, made some kind of outrageous. But tape decks are still like the go-to technology.
Sure.
Still cassettes, still tube televisions, CRTs.
Yeah, like CRTs. Gotta have CRTs. Nothing looks better than a CRT.
No.
Oh yeah.
Still to this day.
Reminds me of like in all those 80s sci-fi movies, like even like Blade Runner and,
Yeah.
Alien and stuff, when you so many CRTs, and it's like, "Ooh, I don't know, guys, that's what you're talking about for the game, right? It's taking
Yep,
that
absolutely.
technology and running with it.
Sure.
Yep.
Cool. And
Yeah,
you said
so. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
you said you call it cassette futurism.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird subgenre of sci-fi where it's like like what we're talking about, like it's supposed to be the future, but everything is CRTs and cassettes. Like the big thing I always say is like Total Recall, like that technology is far past ours, but like it's still running on CRTs.
Yeah.
Like the bioscanner and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, cool. All right. So how in writing Neon Lords, it's a impressive tome.
It is a lot.
First of all,
Thank you.
how long did it take for you to write the game?
From concept to printing, 2 years, give or take a couple months or so.
2 years. Okay. Well,
Was very quick.
yeah, that's pretty quick. Was this like a COVID project, something that you did during lockdown, or what?
Yeah, so it started as a weird concept prior to COVID, but then COVID lockdown kind of like pushed me into like actually laying it out into like a PDF and putting it out on like the Google Drive for people to check out and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think it would have existed without lockdown?
Yeah, it was in the works. It was in the works, like I think I started, I don't even know. It was like right before, so it was like the Christmas right before COVID. Like was when I was like really getting serious with like hammering it down into like a Google Doc. It just like expedited the process.
Sure.
Cool.
Got to be productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely gave me something to do.
I still haven't found like the secret class
Oh.
in the book. Do you maybe want to talk a little bit about like some hidden things that you snuck in there with your writing? Maybe it could be like Easter eggs or callbacks to things. And
like I think every page has about 50 Easter eggs on it. Honestly, like sometimes I don't even remember like what like I've referenced. So it's like, should I just reference it? Yeah, whatever. I'll just do it again. Like I've lost track of like what's even there. But yeah, the hidden class is somewhere. So there's 11 base classes and then a 12th hidden one.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
the book.
definitely my favorite of the classes is the Bruticorn, without a doubt. Where did that Bruticorn come from? Where's the inspiration for that?
Bruticorn came from Brave Star, the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
His sidekick is the mechanical horse. But then me and Mustafa, the guy who did like 80% of the art, we're just kind of chit-chatting one day. And like, like upping each other. I was like, oh, we should do like a 30-30 guy. And he's like, yeah, but he should be like a unicorn. I was like, yeah, but he should have 2 horns. And it's like, all right, well, yep, that's got to happen.
All right, so born from Brave Star. What are some of the other like major influences or main influences for Neon Lords?
Main influences, 80s, 90s Games Workshop for sure, like Rogue Trader Era 40K, Escape from New York, Judge Dredd, Ninja Turtles,
mentioned Total
Toxic
Recall.
Avenger,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Total Recall, huge, RoboCop, Aliens, Predator. Pretty much like if it was cool in the 80s and 90s, we got it.
Well, and I heard you say before that some of the origin of this game was you thinking about Masters of the Universe, right?
Oh, yep. So one day I just woke up, like I got the 5e flu, and just like, I mean, I still like 5e. It's
Sure.
not, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But some, like you just want to branch out, try something different.
Yeah.
I didn't really like I'm a huge post-apocalyptic like movie fan, like other media post-apocalyptic fan. So I'm always drawn to that. And then I love He-Man. So like the sci-fi technology aspect. I really wanted to like incorporate that into a game. So I was like, oh well, maybe I'll just make like a Masters of the Universe RPG, which one is coming out now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they obviously with no license. But well, I wouldn't have a license. But
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll just try it. So everyone runs around like a He-Man with like a sword, and it was called Battle Lords. But then come to find out, there's already a Battle Lords of like the 26th century or something.
Okay.
Which I actually just bought the second edition of it to check it out. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So
but
that's
an early nugget for those of you out there that play Neon Lords, thinking about the Masters of the Universe lens. That's definitely an influence. It's definitely there. So one of the things that's cool about Neon Lords is that it is compatible with BX Dungeons and Dragons, right? Basic and Expert. Why did you pick that as sort of like the skeleton for this game, or how did you land there?
so it was more like I needed something to start, like a good base to start with, because like it's really daunting to be like, I'm just gonna make up my own rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a D20 doesn't do what a D20 does. Let's go, like just some arbitrary rule that like people aren't going to remember.
Right.
So it was a twofold. It was a good basis for people to like grasp the game on, and then like kind of like build from there. And then I needed a base to start with, like to like, okay, well, this does this. Like if I want to like go back and retool everything, I can, but at least I have something to start with.
Yeah.
But then like if it worked so well that I just kept it.
Okay. Yeah, it does also seem daunting to try to make something for 5th edition. You had mentioned 5th edition, and there's a lot of third party and indie stuff going on for 5th edition, and I don't know, it doesn't seem as approachable as BX.
Or easy to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a shuffle. Yeah, the 5e shuffle for sure.
Yeah.
It's got to be huge because there's like a billion projects that like I've never even heard of.
Yeah, but not so many. I mean, not so many things doing the BX. I mean, you got old school essentials, right, which is really bringing it back and giving it attention. But that was definitely something for me that drew me to the Kickstarter initially. It was like, this is BX rules light. Okay, cool. It's going to be somewhat compatible with that stuff. That sounds great. Do you you? In terms of like advice for people out there that are thinking about their own role-playing projects, would you like, is that the way to go? Should you kind of start with a already existing game, or?
It's a good question. I guess it all depends on the project, really. Like, because like you could have like the best idea for rules and like different mechanics and stuff. So like that could be your part, is like you need more like of something to lean on lore wise, but then you have like a good set. I guess, I don't know. That's a good question. I never thought about it. I would say BX or Blades in the Dark seems like a good one to work with.
Yeah, it seems like either you're more interested in like world building or you're more interested in rule making.
Yeah.
And like, so if you're gonna so Neon Lords, it makes sense that you started with BX, but then built on it because you were doing world building, right?
Right. Yeah.
Rather than kind of getting bogged down with rules. But you did also take BX in a different direction. Like,
right.
All the attributes are tweaked, right, and slightly different, and so it's not just a clone or a carbon carbon copy.
Yeah, it's definitely chipped away at the BX and kind of made it what I wanted with it, rather than like OSE is like strictly like Labyrinth Lord. It's like the same way. It's like just a retelling of BX. Reskinned it essentially. Yeah.
So what's the biggest change rule wise, either addition or to Neon Lords that's kind of very different from BX?
So the biggest thing is each class has class-based ability points.
Okay.
Where they can spend. It's a pool of points that they can spend to do either rad abilities or use them to alter class-specific roles.
Sure.
Like a Deathbringer is really good. He's like the go-to vanilla warrior, right?
Okay.
Like fighter class. So say it's kind of a little meta, but if he if he rolls like a 16 and he has to get an 18, he can expend 2 of his class points to make that hit.
Sure.
Cool. Okay.
Or like or spend it to do other like weird rad abilities, whatever he has.
And so each class has its own rad abilities. That's
Yep.
okay. And so that helps to make each of the classes unique.
Unique, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Awesome.
So how has the reception overall to Neon Lords been?
Insanely positive. Like I haven't got any negative reviews.
Really?
Like, which is a blessing and a curse, because like obviously everyone likes to hear praise for what you've done, but
Sure.
I also do want like some criticism to like, I know there's like some typos here and there that need to get tweaked up for the second printing. Other than that, like everything's been like smooth and really well received thus far.
Yeah, and you were recently at PAX Unplugged, right?
Yep. We did PAX in December.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
How was your experience at that convention?
It was good. It was really good. Like we got asked to go down there from Alexandria RPG. They do like the traveling library where they go to conventions with different RPGs, and they set up so you can check out old games if you want, hang out, all that good stuff. And so they had a table set up for me, so I was running 5 games in 4 days there. And then it was pre-register, and like I set it up like a month maybe in advance, and like we got like a couple people signed up online, a couple people here and there. So it's like, all right, like if I got to run a table of 1 guy, like I'm well prepared. Like my buddy John Hall, he met me up there, and a couple friends. So like I had people just in case I need to fill seats on the tables, but every game we ran was booked up with people in like the waiting. Like I had like 5 or 6 people like, well, if this guy doesn't make it, like these guys are available.
Nice.
And it was just based off name alone. They're like, I don't know anything about this, but I want to play it just based off
It's definitely a unique name.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that was like a big push for the name too. Like you have something to stand out. Like, because like I mean, Battle Lord's like so generic and so stupid.
Sure.
Like and then like Neon Death was like the name, like my second idea name, and that's basic and boring. But then it's like Neon Lords, the Toxic Wasteland. Like
well, it seems like you went for that Ninja Turtles aesthetics with like a long name.
Yeah, super
kind of
long name.
Tacking on as much as you could. Yeah.
Yeah, like Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Right.
Big bad Beetleborgs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are you headed with Neon Lords to any conventions upcoming?
I have 2 local conventions. I'm in upstate New York, so there's the North Country Comic Con in June, which is in Watertown, New York, right here. And then I have one in August called AnchorCon, which is in Clay, New York. So those are my only 2 right now. I'm trying to get back. I'll probably do PAX again, but that's in December, so those dates haven't hit me yet. But yeah, we're definitely going to hit PAX again, no doubt about that. I got asked to go to Gen Con, but unfortunately, you had to turn it down.
Oh.
Well, you had mentioned a second print. Do we want to talk about why you may need a second print?
Yeah, what's the story of
the second print is needed because I have no copies left of the book.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I do have some. I got a couple boxes left for these cons. Like, I'm not touching them because I need something to go to a con with. I can't show up with like my beat up copy that got hit by a forklift to be like, here, like look at my book, like it's cool, but I don't have anything to sell you. So like, okay, well, I'm gonna forget who you are in like 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, understandable. Like I have nothing. So yeah, so we need the second printing because I have no copies.
Wow. So when is the second printing going to be?
Second printing is tentatively August. Kickstarter is kind of what we're pushing.
August.
New Kickstarter.
New Kickstarter. So what can you tell us about the new Kickstarter?
New Kickstarter will have some quality of life updates to the wording. I've been tweaking some stuff in the rules, some like wording on some things that like just to clarify it, make it a little bit more clear for some people. Because like people come back with like, well, what do you mean by this? And it's like, all right, well, let me just clear it up in the book. Just a couple of like, I just added something else. So anyway, but mostly quality of life typos. We're gonna have a couple more people put eyes on it, so they can like double check because it's hard. That's the hardest part is like go through and like scan for stuff like that. Like that. I can't do it. I have a hard time with it. So I'm gonna let someone else.
Yeah,
do
hire
it. Like,
somebody else to do it.
Yeah, hire someone else. I had somebody do it last time, but I need somebody else again. Another pass. That's why you always see like proofreaders. There's like 1 billion on a book.
So as somebody who already has the first printing, though, why do I need the second printing?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I got on a proofreading tangent.
I'm just trying to help you, Brian. I want to.
No, I know. I understand.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so the next printing will have a new cover. So it's going to be a brand new cover.
Yeah.
It's going to have a dusk jacket that has a completely different art than the actual cover.
Oh.
Yeah. and then 3 new adventures. Like the adventures, so you got Operation Cherry Bomb is in there. Space Truckers Must Die, and then It Came from the Sewers in the book. The 3 adventures.
Yeah.
They're getting nixed, and then 3 brand new ones are going in. Plus, to keep the hidden stuff theme going, there's going to be a secret hidden adventure in there.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
So you'll get
nice.
4 adventures. Plus the hidden class is still going to be hidden.
And a new cover. And a
new
new
cover.
dust jacket with like a second new cover.
Yeah.
Yep.
So really, I'm going to need 2 copies of the second printing.
It's like a display both.
Yeah.
Yeah, theoretically.
I mean, theoretically. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then hopefully, I'm gonna look at pricing, but I've convinced myself I've made it if I have a cloth book cover or a cloth book mark.
Oh,
book
like
mark.
a ribbon. Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah,
book,
book
yeah.
ribbon. Yes, thank you. That's where I've considered myself made it if I got the book ribbon. So
yeah. I'm all
it's either
for it.
going to be a stretch goal or I'm going to see if I can just put it on there.
Sure.
Excellent.
Tack it on.
Oh, cool.
Nice and green, neon green.
Well, so I mean, I took a chance on the first Kickstarter, not knowing you, never having met you before, and just as a fan, it was one of the best Kickstarters I've ever participated in. It was just
Thank you.
so awesome, so well done. The stretch goals were fun, and when everything finally arrived, I mean, so I originally backed just for the initial cover, and then I added on the second book because of all the stretch goals and all the good reviews and everything that were coming out and stuff. And then I got that packet of like all the bonus goodies with like the pogs and the stickers, and that was a breathtaking Kickstarter.
Thanks.
Tell me some Kickstarter tales. Like what's it actually like though behind the scenes of that? It was great as a fan. I'm just saying, like, it was great as a fan, but
well,
you know,
if you are like, so I did everything in the book except for the illustrations. Like I paid people to do the illustrations, but ultimately, like the layout, like talking to the printer, like getting all that coordinated, I did all of it by myself.
Okay.
So if I had to do it again, I wouldn't be so ambitious when it came to the stretch goals for sure. Like, because it was a lot, and then like mailing them all out by myself and figuring it all out was pretty rough. But
are you still mailing?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm still mailing international.
Okay.
Because of like everything that's going on. Like there's this weird thing with the post office in Australia. Like they won't mail to Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
Interesting.
it's this whole like thing. So like that's a whole thing, and then just like with all the like current affairs in the world right now, it's really hard to. And like it's the pricing is insane. So like I'm taking a hit on it because I'm not gonna make someone else pay. You know, like that. I don't think that's fair.
Sure.
So like slowly getting out the internationals, but it's like 30 books left and then out of 260. So
Nice.
I think I'm doing all right.
It's not bad.
Considering it's by myself. Like
Yeah.
No, it was
So.
Great from a fan, but I imagine I was thinking at the time, I was like, and I think Brian, we've talked about this before, like the legitimacy of stretch goals. Like, are they real or not? Like sometimes it seems like they're phony, like things that people intend to do anyway, but they kind of like, you know, lay them out in a sequence.
Along.
All of your stretch goals were legit.
Yeah.
Like, and that's actually like, as somebody who like, for fun, will like scroll through Kickstarter, just kind of looking at different ones. I knew with this one, I was like, oh, this guy's really doing it like the way you're supposed to, with like, or maybe the way you're not supposed to. I don't know. Like
Right,
that's
yeah, I don't think.
right.
Yeah, I think we really messed it up, but it was a mess up. It was a mess up in a good way.
Yeah, but it was
For sure.
It was really fun to be a fan and to then finally get
Appreciate
this
it.
stuff. So looking, I can't, without too much hyperbole, like I can't wait for the second Kickstarter, and I already have the book. Like, it's gonna,
I missed out on the first one. I'm looking out for the second one. I can't wait.
Very nice.
So can you get the book anywhere right now? I know I saw it on Exalted Funeral, but it looks like it was sold out.
Yeah, Exalted sold out. They just put in another order. I gotta. I'm just lazy, I guess. I gotta like send them an invoice and all that stuff. So they'll get some eventually. BlackRainbow.com has some copies right now.
Okay.
It's like Black Rainbow, but it's like without the vowel, so it's like BLKRNBW.com.
Sure.
He actually.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, check them out because they actually sell. Oh man, I'm in the middle of moving into a house, so like all my stuff is like. Sell Neon Lords blacklight dice bags.
Whoa!
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then it comes with a little zine
Nice.
that has the Ape Warlord class in it that you can only get in the zine.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
And that's on the Black Rainbow site?
And
Black Rainbow.
I can only get that from Black Rainbow.
Yep, and then they got the official Plutonium Nyborg Neon Lords dice that are blacklight.
Brian, where do I put the credit card? Is there a spot here? What? I did not know this.
I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you about it.
No,
Yeah,
that's great.
That's nice. That's nice.
yeah, and he just did blacklight posters of the cover, the
Cool.
core rules cover. So those are looking nice. He sent me like the video of like turning on the blacklight and seeing it like glow. It looks awesome. And then
Nice.
we've been talking about more possible, well not possible, but more merch. So we're gonna get some trucker hats done and
Nice.
Cool.
all that good stuff.
All right.
So we were talking about like Army of the Dead sort of spin-offs and Kickstarters with Neon Lords. So like, when's the Neon Lords anime, or what's next for Neon Lords?
Oh, I wish. So the problem is the fact that everything got pushed back for the second printing because I wasn't anticipating. I had 500 copies and now I have like under like 20.
Sure.
So like I barely have enough to do these cons, and that's just hoping. I don't know. It's weird. It's a toss up. I don't know how good we're gonna do. So like, I'm just holding out on that.
Mhm.
But yeah, that pushed like everything back. I had like a bunch of like the follow up book, like Deities and Demi Bros, is like the follow up book. Like that got pushed back, and then like a vehicle supplement book, Hack and Thrash, I think we were calling it. That like the party wagon, like any awesome vehicle you can think of from anything is going to be in it. Just
Cool.
vehicle rules and like skateboards and stuff that got pushed, like some more adventures and stuff just to get ready for the second printing.
Sure.
But it'll be worth it, I think, especially with the dust jacket, like looking real cool.
Yeah. All right. So he said, but after the Kickstarter, at some point, Deities and Demi Bros.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a play on the like first AD&D
Oh yeah.
Deities and Demigods book. So it's gonna be like the wrestling pantheon and like all the gods and like the wrestling class and like
Macho Man Randy Savage.
yeah, more Lord Randy. So like
Yeah.
actual stats for Lord Randy, and then
Awesome.
like his pantheon of weirdos.
We need a Neon Lord version of like Cthulhu to add to it.
Oh,
To have-
Cthulhu's in there.
To have some like.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because it's public domain, so anything
Yeah.
can have Cthulhu in it. So
Okay.
I threw it in there because I can. But I spelled it like the Metallica song, so it's like KUTHLU or something. I don't even know.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So like, lore wise, there's like a battle between Lord Randy and Cthulhu where he like elbow drops him to Raleigh.
You're gonna sleep.
Yeah. I'd have to
so
read
good.
it again. I don't even remember what I wrote half the time.
That
I know there's some.
Your continuity is gonna be errored at some point, I think.
Yeah, but
There's a lot going on.
That's the fun part.
That's right.
I can write myself into all those continuity errors because, like, for one, nobody actually knows what the past is. Like, it's a guess.
Right.
Sure.
And two, it's like it's a cartoon on paper. So like, no cartoon ever had like actual continuity.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The guy, they die at the end, and then they show up next episode with no like explanation on why they're back.
Let me know the first time you're asked when something is canon in Neon Lords. I think that's when you know you've really made it.
Yeah.
When, is in the vehicle book? Is it canon that the
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll be like, I don't even remember half the stuff I've written rule wise. I don't remember like half the stuff I've written, especially because like it's all a fever dream. Like it'd be like 3 a.m. I was like, I got to get like these pages done. So it's like, whatever. Like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. And then you go back and you read it in the morning. You're like, okay, yeah, that works.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So where can people find you online?
So I am everywhere online. I am on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We actually started streaming on Twitch. Now we do live show or live gameplay, and then I do a show with Joey Royale from Get Haunted Industries. We call it Raviolis for Randy, where we talk about VHS tapes and horror movies and all that stuff. So that's on there. We got the YouTube channel. I have a TikTok, but I don't understand how to do it. So like, I have like 12 followers. So shout out to those 12 people who stick with me. But like that's a whole nother marketing piece. TikTok.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Insta. Yeah. Pretty much anywhere. If you could type in Neon Lords in a search bar, like you'll find me there.
Nice.
Well, and if you're on Facebook, there is a great Neon Lords group that has daily discussions about the game, and you're obviously on there every day. It's a fun group.
Oh yeah, it's a really good group. I'm really happy with like the community of the Neon Maniacs, as we call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like-minded people. It's like this weird stuff of like, Betamax and VHSs and CRT TVs that people appreciate to this day. Like we've all combined, and now we're just going to take over the RPG sphere. We're going to have the biggest RPG ever. Like Watsy's going to have to fight us off with a stick, I guess.
That's right. Well, very good. Jesse, any other questions for Brian?
I am curious to see how the Kickstarter is going to go, and I hope that we can sort of reconnect maybe at the start of that or at the end of that to see how that process is going, and to get some updated stuff on
we gotta run a game here too.
Oh yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Brian. Appreciate
no problem.
this.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
hopefully
it was awesome.
we can connect in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. You just hit me up. I'm free whenever.
All right.
So it was amazing to talk to Brian. Do you know anybody that you would like to see on Every Edition as a special guest being interviewed? Do you have questions for Brian? Do you yourself make games and want to talk about them? Let us know at everyeditionrpg@gmail.com. You can also find our socials at everyeditionrpg.com. You have links to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, everything. Everywhere we are, Patreon. You can find us there and let us know if you have any ideas of people we can interview.
Yeah, this was the first interview we've done, but I'm hoping it's something we do pretty regularly.
Yeah.
So yeah, get in touch.
Fun.
Get in touch. Let us know if you have any ideas for who we should interview, or you've got reason to want to be interviewed by us.
Yeah. It's time to loot the body. Today's Loot the Body, we are looking at Meatlandia, a series by Night Owl Publishing. John, tell me a little bit about Meatlandia.
Oh, I'd love to. So Meatlandia, right around the same time that I was backing Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland, I also backed the third hardcover in this Meatlandia series put out by like you said, Night Owl Publishing. And they both happen to be post-apocalyptic games that use BX.
Oh, sure.
But that's where the similarities end. They are very different games, and they're both wonderful. But to spotlight Meatlandia is really a cross between that sort of Mad Max post-apocalyptic feeling, but it also has its roots in the Tremors movies with those underground graboids, right? And giant worms and kind of stuff like that. And the magic in this particular game is really based in like blood and muscle and sinew and bone.
Okay.
And the magic in the world of Meatlandia transforms you over time. If you use it, it pollutes you.
Sure.
And you actually end up becoming those worms. Like you become a giant worm yourself slowly over time. They have a great picture of in the book of someone slowly turning into one of these giant worms. It's really cool.
The progression of it.
The progression of the mutation, right? So the magic is really gross. It's got that Mad Max post-apocalyptic thing. It reminds me of Tremors. It also has dinosaurs, right?
Sure.
Just to add that one more thing to kind of blow it all up and make it special in its own thing. It's a really creative and inventive world and a wonderful way to play old school essentials. It is designed specifically for old school essentials. This, what I'm reviewing right now, is the second printing of the Chaos Gods Come to Meatlandia.
Sure.
And the second printing, it converted it 100% to being designed for old school essentials.
Nice.
But the original printing was designed for BX. This just put the moniker of old school essentials on the cover itself. Night Owl Publishing, we've talked about before. They put out a zine called Old School and Cool, which the third volume just got kickstarted.
Nice.
And it's fantastic. Again, if you love old school essentials and you love BX, Dungeons and Dragons, it's a great zine. They also have, coming soon, a new Kickstarter for an aquatic adventures book, which is going to be for old school essentials.
This sounds horrifying. Absolutely
That
horrifying.
scares you.
Horrifying.
Why?
Yes.
Say more. What are you thinking?
I have an overactive imagination.
Yeah.
Right. So the fear of the unknown is my biggest fear, including the deep, dark ocean.
Oh.
So I love when games and movies and things delve into there and like give you that sort of Lovecraftian Cthulhu horror.
Oh yeah.
So I can see this being pretty good.
Well, they're advertising it as the definitive source book for underwater play.
Okay.
It's going to have at least 59 new magic items, 11 new spells, 64 new monsters, 8 new aquatic classes.
Okay.
Underwater gods, underwater weapons and armor, and an adventure called Dug Too Deep. In addition to that, there's also a bonus zine called Deluge, which is going to be a part of the Kickstarter as well. So I am chomping at the bit for this. I love Night Owl Publishing. I think they're rocking it. The Meatlandia trilogy is so good, and I'm really looking forward to this new Kickstarter. If there's one thing, I'll tell you what the thing that I read in the first book that made me a believer. It's one of the new classes, and it's called the Chaos DJ. Okay? And the Chaos DJ, you actually pick 2 or 3 real-world songs, and anything from the lyrics in those songs, you can turn into a spell effect. Okay? And it's one and done. You play that song, and you can then say the lyric that you want to invoke the power of the song, and it takes place in the game. You have to be a really creative right, player and game master, right, or dungeon master. But then you can never use that song again as that character. It's done, and it's a one-shot. You do it once, and it's gone. And every time you sit down at the table with that character, you pick 2 or 3 brand new songs.
Okay.
And once you use them, then they're gone and they're done.
You prepare your songs, you prepare your spells.
Exactly. It was just such a creative way, and I can imagine. It's the first. It's the class I want to play in Meatlandia because it sounds like so much fun, and we end up using songs and song lyrics as jokes at the table all the time. So the idea of using that as a sort of play mechanic definitely fits in with my gonzo kind of jokey way of enjoying to play.
Okay.
It's definitely clearly not a class for, if you want a really serious fantasy. This is, along the lines of Gamma World and along the lines of Mutant Crawl Classics and, along the lines of Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland.
Tongue-in-cheek.
It's a tongue-in-cheek post-apocalyptic. I would say of all of them, Meatlandia is a little bit more serious, but then it still has those sparks of gonzo. Sure. So can't recommend it enough. I can't wait to play a Chaos DJ.
It sounds awesome. And I really want the aquatic thing. When you said 59 magic items, I started salivating.
Yes. Oh,
magic items.
It's going to be loaded. And why I believe it. They say it's going to be the definitive underwater source book.
Yeah.
I don't have any reason to doubt them. So here we go. So everybody check out Night Owl Publishing. They actually just launched a Twitter account, brand new Twitter account. So follow them, find them on Twitter, and pick up all 3 books from Meatlandia and get ready to back Aquatic Adventures on Kickstarter.
This has been an interesting episode. I really enjoyed interviewing Brian, and I can't wait to interview more people in the future. I really like the sort of back and forth and the sort of stuff that doesn't have to do with exactly what we're talking about. I like getting to know people, especially the people in the industry that we are, trying to be a part of.
Yeah, we want to be good ambassadors for the tabletop role playing game industry, and the best way to be an ambassador is to get to know the people in the gaming world and help them, get their stuff out there.
Yeah, put a voice to the name. Check us out at everyeditionrpg.com, where we have links to all of our socials, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as where you can find links to our audio podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and a link to our email, everyeditionrpg@gmail.com, where you can let us know if there's anybody in particular you want us to interview, or if you yourself have a game and you want to promote your game and you think you're aligning with what we want to do.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, good to see you. Bye-bye.